Although I did see Messi, I was only watching a clip of Messi during the week. He scored a similar goal for Barcelona.
Yeah,
I don't know who it was against.
Getafe, I think it was the 10-year anniversary of that as well or something. But
Right.
very similar, and went round the goalkeeper. Did you watch the Diego, the Maradona documentary that was on there a couple of weeks ago?
I went to see it actually in the cinema. Amazing. I mean, to me, see, Maradona was my era. So to me, Maradona was the best ever. Now, Messi is the best ever, and I love Ronaldo, but to me, Messi is God. And I couldn't actually, for years, I said, no, it's Maradona, it's Maradona, it's Maradona. Now I don't know. The thing that Maradona has over Messi is that he won the World Cup, and he won the World Cup single-handedly. Will Messi get to do that? I'm not sure he will now,
Yeah, I'm all Messi as well, and I don't want to veer off. But on the documentary as well, the thing that made me maybe, because I'm all about Messi now, but the thing that made me maybe go back to Maradona after watching the documentary was to do what he did whilst having the lifestyle that he had, Nicky, as well.
Yeah, phenomenal, absolutely. And when you watch the movie, it's amazing. It's a real sad story actually, because he's got so much talent, but when you and if you when you watch the movie and you realise how much pressure he was under and how much people were controlling his life, it was phenomenal, and it's a little bit like, like a, I don't know, world famous superstar singer from a young age. I mean, there's no normality, from a kid, like a child star. There's no normality whatsoever, and I actually feel sorry for Maradona, to be honest.
Yeah. So the goalkeeping, I always have the view that goalkeepers are mad. And we used to stick a fella, it'd be the last pick, and you'd throw the fella in goals who kind of maybe not be the best. Why goalkeeping for you, Nicky?
I just like getting balls kicked straight into my nose and
so you're out of it, man.
Into the groin. There's nothing like the pain of a ball in the groin, I think, to be honest with you, right, and that saying of goalkeepers being mad has been around for eternity. I don't actually agree with it. I don't like when you look at it like that, of putting your head where people are putting their feet and stuff. Yeah, it's not ideal, but it's just a bit of, that's courage. But at the same time, it's about reading the game. It's about reading the ball, and I always say goalkeeping. For me, you won't agree with this because you're one of those outfield players, but there actually is a difference between goalkeeper and outfield. What I mean by that is, to me, a goalkeeper is the most important position on the pitch. Now, you asked me a question, why goalkeeping? That wasn't why when I was 6 or 5. That was because my dad was a goalkeeper and he trained me in my back garden, ping a ball, showed me how to catch a ball, how to ping a ball. And we did a back garden and a shed behind us, so normal kind of whatever, 6x6 shed. And that was the goal, the width of the shed. And he would ping, but he would start off by catching a ball and then he'd bounce balls in front of me. And I actually, at that age, I preferred being an outfield player because you get to score, you get to tackle, you get to celebrate. And then I remember going to the home farm mini leagues when I was 6, and I played outfield. And for some reason, I enjoyed it. But then the next year when I went back, my dad said to me, why don't you jump in goal? Because he trained me then for a year as a keeper. I don't know why, just because he was.
Okay.
And I went back and I played in the home farm mini leagues, which are gone now, which is a shame really, because they were brilliant. And I had this moment, and it stands out weirdly. I had this moment, it was in like a semi-final of the mini leagues, and they got a penalty. And I was wearing, this is like a laugh, I was wearing BMX gloves. Like white gloves with little dots that I got from Santa Claus, from a part of BMX. And this guy, I just remember focusing on the ball. I remember getting, as he ran up to take the penalty, I remember getting kind of low on my toes like my dad had taught me, and watching that ball. And I didn't go early because, at that age you're 6 and, you're not thinking of picking a side. I waited for the ball to be kicked and it went to my right. I saved it. It was a semi-final. The emotion and the hurrah from the team, from the manager, like, you don't save penalties really at 6. And we went on, and we won the mini leagues. We went to the final and we won the mini leagues. And that was it. That was the buzz, was from there. But I genuinely believe, and like I said, you won't agree, goalkeeper is the most important position on the pitch. I mean, you can do it out with striker. You can do it out with centre half. You can't do it out with goalkeeper. And outfield players don't get that. Like, they genuinely don't. And maybe we'll get onto it later on. But outfield players, and the world is made up of outfield players, and the management world is made up of outfield players, and they'll bollock goalkeepers for different things, and quite frankly, a lot of time they haven't a clue. They really haven't a notion. And I enjoyed playing outfield as well as in goal with my mates and in school, and So I'd be a half decent outfield player, like, you know, my touches go, passes go, yeah, all the tackling, all that. So with goalkeeping then, I think you have to have that nowadays particularly, but you also have to think like a striker sometimes. You have to think in a split second what you might do, you know, and yeah, that's where it came from. But the madness, I'm not one of those lunatic guys that
no, you're not mad, no.
You know what I mean? So I know goalkeepers who don't fit that bill, who are excellent goalkeepers, you know.
I love the way the fact that you reference your dad so much growing up, and I know you were really close to him, Nicky, and the fact that as a kid he was the one who taught you first. I'm something similar now. My wee boy, playing football with him every day because that was the experience I had growing up as a kid. When it came around to moving to Leeds then, which was obviously a massive thing for you, just because a lot of the lads have it's something that the wider public overlook, but certainly from being in that kind of, with your family and your friends, moving away from home as a young Irish kid, and you being so close to your family, just how hard was that, or what was the overriding emotion in terms of, I'm sure you were excited to sign for Leeds, but the wrench of leaving home so young as well?
Well, I think, you know, you grew up, I guess, the same, wanted to play at the highest level, wanted to play for an English club, wanted to play for your country, wanted to win a World Cup, you know. That was my dream, and, you know, we play 3 and in, I don't know what you called it in Sligo, but, you know, every day. World Cup, we called it World Cup too. And I used to commentate on games. I would record matches, fake matches on a tape recorder and be the commentator, and like, I didn't stop wanting to be a footballer, and I had every jersey. I mean, I was a Manchester United fan, but I had every jersey. And, you know, my first ever game was in 1986, Jack Charlton's first ever game, when my dad brought me in on the dart. I'd say there was about 10,000 people in Lansdowne Road for that game when Wales beat us 1-0 and stuff. So it was just football. And under 12, I know I'll maybe mention this as well. Under 12, we went to a tournament with Home Farm, and this was the big time. We went over as Home Farm Football Club, but we were playing against Ajax, PSV, Mechelen, Standard Liège, FC Cologne, and I ended up winning goalkeeper of the tournament. They did all those, because I had a really good tournament. I did do very well, but it was a buzz where getting up on that, you know, working your ass off, you know, winning the trophy and coming home at Dublin Airport where my mum and dad were waiting as a 12-year-old boy, and I still have the trophy. I had this goalkeeping bronze statue, and that was it. I just thought, right, I am going to keep this up now. I loved it, but everything was pointing. Everyone mentioned my height at that point, and I look back on old pictures now, and I'm exactly. I know my height exactly. I always say I'm 5'10", but I'm 5'9" and 3/4 exactly, and I know that because one, I've measured myself, but Leeds United measured me daily, you know, and I did everything from stretching out banisters and, you know, anything I could do, I did. And but anyway, to get to your point, a lot of the lads, as I started to move through Home Farm, then there was the DSL selection under 13. Alan maybe mentioned going up to play against Man United up in Northern Ireland. I was in that squad, and then a year later, then it was the Kennedy Cup team. I didn't make the squad, but then the Dublin team got food poisoning and I got called in. I was obviously third choice and I got called in. But again, it was always hyped. Anytime a manager spoke to the DSL manager or anybody, it was great. And I had this tagline of a great little keeper.
Great little keeper.
Yeah, and listen, that's a compliment. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Great to be great, isn't it? But if someone thinks that. But the hype really annoyed me. You know, it was like, I went to a doctor, fully enough, at 14, and he got my mum's height and my dad's height, and he worked out what I was going to be.
Really?
On a graph, and he said, "Yeah, I probably think you're going to be about 5'7", 6". I was like, "No, brilliant." That's thankfully I was a bit bigger.
The lengths you were going to, because that was obviously something that was concerning you, like.
Yeah, and then on the 15, so the first Ireland squad we had was they played. The squad was picked real quickly to play the under 14s. It was against Slovakia in the AUL, and I wasn't named in the squad. I was absolutely devastated, like annoyed, devastated. The manager was Tommy Connolly, and the manager spoke to Tommy, and he went, "Yeah, he's just a little bit. He's on the smaller side." But what I could never get, right, and this might sound a little bit arrogant, but I would always like, small is one thing, but would you not? If I was the better option, would you not go with your better option? Like, are you going to just judge everything on height? That really pissed me off, you know. Later, I worked my ass off. I got the chance again, went for the Irish, got in, maybe debut under 15. and never looked back. Played 15s, 16s, 18s. I broke my elbow a month before the European Championships, which was the biggest thing in my life. That was, you know, part of my dad passed away. That broke my heart because I had bad injury. I came back to county on trial and went to a training session. We were playing Chile the next night, and in the last 5 minutes of a training match, and Tommy, the man, the gaffer, Tommy Connolly, said to me, to me and Alan Mabry, we'd just flown in from Derby County, and he said, go on there, you guys don't need to, you're starting tomorrow, you don't need to go on, but if you want to go on, go on. But sir, if a gaffer says that to you, you're not going to go, yeah, gaffer, yeah, we won't go on. So you go on to impress. Last 5 minutes, and Thomas Heary took a shot from about 20 yards, far top corner, I dived kind of that way, landed. I remember this feeling around my right arm of like somebody wrapping a load of elastic bands. It wasn't pain, it was more like a numbness and a tightness. Played on. The goal went. What annoyed me was the goal went in, and 5 minutes later I thought, this isn't feeling right. And the game was finished, and the physio said, yeah, just leave it for me, put some ice on it. So I'm sitting there icing my elbow, and I'm getting these like darting pains. So anyway, takes the jersey off, looks a bit swollen. Dad was at the training session, and we drove into Bournemouth Hospital and scanned my elbow, and he says, oh yeah, there's a little chip here, you're going to be out for about 2 weeks. I thought, well, that's not the end of the world. Missed the Chile game, but this was July, so it didn't really matter. Yeah. European Championships was September. And then I went back a week later to Ray Moran, who's now the knee specialist in Century. Who's Kevin Moore's brother, lovely guy. He looks at the scans and he goes, right, he said, when are you signing for Leeds? And I was like, what? I'm going to Leeds, like, you know, next year. And he says, okay, so we'll operate on you in the morning. We'll put 2 pins in. I was like, what pins? Operation? What now? Okay. You know, that was I was out for about 4.5 months. Obviously, you know, wasn't in the Ireland squad for the Euros under 16. Missed that, but I got to Leeds, and then, you know, the Leeds thing was all the dreams come true. I got back to full fitness, and you know, went over there, and that was every dream come true. Then, you know, you signed. So I got over the disappointment by signing for Leeds United, and that was myself, Alan Mabry, Steve McPhail, John Butler, the 4 Irish lads that went over, and a bit like you, I guess, 2 years after me. You know, at that point, all your dreams have come true. Yeah. The hard work starts then, but at that point, the dreams have come true, you know.
I think that's something that people don't realise, Nicky, though. Like, as you say, that dream comes true that you're moving over, but people then only see the fame, the career, the money, whatever that. But as you said, the hard work only begins, and it's a really, what I found as well, firstly was the homesickness I struggled with, and the second thing was, it's a real ruthless industry. And if you're not performing, there's another fella there, the next fella. And I found, and I suppose it might be different for lads now in the world we live in, but the managers were tough, which I liked, and they demanded a lot from me, because I think that's gone out of the game now. It's a little bit soft, in my opinion, in certain aspects. But you, of course, had Paul Hart as your youth team coach, who's renowned for being tough.
Tough, or I can think of other words. But look, I love a challenge, right? Like I will give when I get stuck in everything, and I love my goalkeeping training. So this is where, again, to touch on the manager, the outfield versus the goal. So my goalkeeping coach when I went over was John Burridge, Budgie as a nickname.
Budgie, mad. Yeah, he's mad.
Now Budgie is mad. He's one of those that goes into that guy, but lovely guy, great goalkeeper. About an inch, maybe an inch smaller than me, I would have said. Now maybe he shrank in his old age, I don't know, you know. But then in my year 2 with a guy called Eric Steele. So Eric Steele went on to become Manchester United's goalkeeper coach up until very recent. I think until David De Gea signed, and then I think De Gea brought in his own Spanish coach or something. Which by the way, in itself shows you where the game has gone. A goalkeeper bringing in his own goalkeeping coach. I mean, it's just, anyway, that's a different thing. But yeah, so where I agree with you is I love the toughness of it. I don't mind actually getting a bollock in there. Like, you know, you kind of, you take it, you don't agree with it in your head, or you might answer back or whatever. But to touch on, let's say, the Paul Hart situation, like, I would question Paul Hart as a manager, because now people love Paul Hart. You know, last week, I love Al, by the way, so this is not criticism of Al. Al's ledge, right? And I played with Alan maybe since I was 9? I was home for him since.
He's gone through a lot, in fairness.
He has, and Al was the best player at our age group. Like, there's no doubt about it. Every club in the country wanted Al. And there in itself is what I'm about to touch on. Like you have, let's say, people like Alan Mabry didn't need to worry about Paul Hart. Like people like Steve MacPhail, who was like literally the best player a year below us, and he's a year younger than me. But we started at Leeds together. Like Macca was golden boots, as was Alan Mabry, as was Harry Kewell. Me and Harry Kewell and Mabry, lived in digs together. And Harry, brilliant character. Like, Harry was always going to make it. But there, ticks the box of Paul Hart. Where Paul Hart for me falls down is not being able to deal with other players, to not being able to a great manager for me is somebody who can put their arm around the player who needs the arm around them. Is a manager who manages people. So you might be the player that responds best to a bollocking. I might be the player that responds best to be told I'm brilliant every day, even when I was shit today.
Yeah.
And that boy over there might be the player to put his arms around and go, you're better than this. So that's management to me.
Yeah.
That's a bit. And Paul Hart didn't have that, and he had it at a youth level because youth players were in fear. Do you understand what I mean? And that's why we, Leeds had we had great players, obviously. Jonathan Woodgate, Alan Smith, Harry Kewell, Alan Mabry, Steve MacPhail, Harty, and Hart was a year above us, played a bit with great players. But where I feel Paul Hart, if you look at his senior record, I mean, it's abysmal.
Terrible,
it's absolute. Like if you look at Notts Forest, I think he got sacked without a win. Swindon Town, he got relegated. Other clubs, Barnsley, I think he didn't win 11 games. And I always felt, and this isn't a character assassination of Paul Hart, but why I in that respect kind of the memory I have of Paul Hart was being always in fear of him, and always, I was a 16-year-old boy. My friend Paul Hart flew to Dublin to meet my parents with the Leeds United chief scout, which was Eddie Beaglehole at the time, and they sat in Dublin Airport, and the words they used to my parents, and I was 15, was, we have an uncut diamond. We just need to get him to Leeds and step it up now to Leeds United training, like 5, 6, 7, whatever it was, days a week. He's got school, he's got this, he's got that. We need to leave. No, don't worry. Paul Hart brought me over to Howard Wilson, the gaffer at the time, and said, Gaffer, as he introduced me, and I was only 16, he says, look at his height, but do not be deceived. Do not be deceived. And I was like, these were things I was blown away by. But when I got to Leeds, this was all pre-me signing, and then I signed for Leeds, and everything changed. Everything changed. It was now. This goes on down the line of, as you touched on, it's tough. It's a man eat man. It's a business. You're a number, and now I get that. But try tell that to a 15, 16-year-old who's going over there, who's going to take time to settle in, who's going to have bad training sessions, who's going to be homesick, who's going to pick up injuries because you're stepping up your training sessions. So in that respect, and the big thing for me, because I'm quite an honest person, Paul Hart never said goodbye to me. He never wished me well. He never did any of those things.
Really?
Eddie Gray did.
I never dealt with Paul Hart, and I obviously would have dealt a lot with Eddie Gray, who I found brilliant. The only reason I'm going on about Hart a little bit is because, as you said, for all those reasons, Mabes, all the youth team, Andy Reid was on here, had him at Forest, and they all rave about him. But you make a